Hello everyone and welcome back to Whiz. You're here with your host master Priyadarshan, and I'm here with the answers for yesterday's 5 questions and 5 more exciting new questions for you today. So I hope you're ready and let's get the questions going. Let's start off with the answers for yesterday's 5 questions. So here we go. Here is question number 1. Which is the only warm blooded mammal able to withstand body temperatures below freezing while hibernating? So, the answer for this question is actually very interesting. When we are thinking about hibernating, and that too for such a long time, we think it probably must be a bigger animal, but actually, the animal that we are talking about is the Arctic ground squirrel. So even though it's tiny, it's a very intelligent creature and it knows how to survive in the wilderness. So that brings us to question number 2 for yesterday. Here it is. I had shown you a table of sorts where the year was written and the movie was written. I had told you to connect it to an aerospace company. So I think some of you would have been able to crack it, those who are really into movies or who really like to keep a track of these sort of facts. But the answer that we are looking for is Lockheed Martin. So that is the answer for the second question. Moving on to question number 3. His Buddhist name is Nitin Doraku. How do we know him better? So this I had asked in one of my previous editions of the quiz. Those who would have followed the channel would be knowing this answer. The answer we were looking for is Miyamoto Musashi. So now I think that would connect to some of my previous questions. Moving on to question number 4 for yesterday. Here it is. I had shown you 2 pictures, one of a king and one of an inscription written on a board. And I had asked you to identify this ghost town. So the answer we were looking for is very simple. That was Singapore. So that was the answer for that question. Moving on to our next question, our last question for yesterday. Here it is. This miniature home features running water, electricity, flush toilets, elevators, a fully stocked 1200-piece wine cellar and with real wine and beer, and a miniature library stuffed with original stories handwritten by authors such as Rudyard Kipling, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Building this required the handwork of more than 1500 artists and craftsmen. So what is the name of this house that we are talking about? And I had also shown you a picture of the same. So the answer that we are looking for is the Windsor Dollhouse, the world's largest and most elaborate miniature home. So that sums up our 5 questions for yesterday. I hope you enjoyed them. And now it's time to move on to the 5 questions for today. So let's count them down. Here is question number 1. Nestle Smarties book prize for a time was a set of annual records for was a set of annual records for British children's books that ran from 1985 till 2007. It was administered by Book Trust, an independent charity that promotes books and reading in the United Kingdom, and sponsored by Nestle. The manufacturer of Smarties candy was the first person to win the Smarties prize 3 times in a row. So who are we talking about, or who is this author that we are talking about? Moving on to question number 2, here it is. In the year 1928, when brothers Paul V. and Joseph purchased the bankrupt Stuart Battery Company's battery eliminator plants and manufacturing equipment at auction for $750, they started off with the production of battery eliminators that went on to create the first car radio in 1930. Just to market this product, they changed the name of the company, the logo of which has 2 triangles. So which company are we talking about? Now there are several hints in the question itself. So if you think a little, you should be able to crack this easily. Moving on to question number 3, here it is. The etymology of the name is uncertain. In Historia Regum Britanniae, which details the history of the Britain, claims that the name is described as originating from King Lud, who seized the city uh, Trinovatum and ordered it to be renamed in his honor as Caelod. So, which modern day city are we talking about that has such an elaborate history? Even though there are certain words in the question that may sound a little confusing, a little difficult, trust me, the answer is much, much more simpler. Moving on to question number 4, here it is. Andy Bechtolsheim, Sun Microsystems founder, was the first investor of Google, who initially invested 100K, so $100,000 in the entity in August 1998. The initial name of this entity was Web Crawler. Then they changed it to the new name. So can you identify this company from these details? And that brings us to our last question for today. So here it is. Here we go. This candy was first invented in 1974 in England and were introduced in the United States as an imported product in 1979. It is the second most popular candy after Starburst. Taste the Rainbow slogan was introduced in 1994. So which is this candy that we are talking about? Now the last one was a little bit easier. If you read the question carefully, you will crack this answer. So all the best to you. I hope to see your answers in the comments below. And while you're typing in the comments, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching the video. I will be back tomorrow with some more questions and some more answers. So do stay tuned in. Till then, I'll take your leave. So thank you. Stay safe. Take care. Good night. And remember to keep quizzing.